So today I'm going to be sharing a piece that I wrote in October 2015. October 17th, 2015 to be exact. This is about my religious feelings at the time. I had just graduated college. In college, I had the chance to encounter various groups of religious community. I went into college as a unificationist. I had just got off that leadership discipleship program that a lot of high school graduates go into after they're graduating high school and before they move on to whatever they have going on next. So I was really hyped up about the religion that I grew up in, which is the Unification Church religion. It's the cult that I have been referring to. Yeah, but we're gonna get into the details of the Unification Church later on. So today this piece is mostly about thoughts I had more like Christianity, I don't know, how do I want to describe this? Christianity that believes in, the incarnation of God as Jesus, the Trinity, that kind of Christianity. I came really close to truly believing in that in college because I met a couple Christian groups in college and they were a really great community to me. I also met the Baha'i faith in college as well, which actually kind of saved, quote unquote, my college experience because I was really struggling to find community that I vibe with. And I think because I was in that religious mind space after getting off that discipleship program, I needed spiritual / religious community to really start to make friends in college, and the Baha'i faith is actually the community that I met that I could really vibe with. I'm gonna have to explain what exactly the Baha'i faith is too eventually. But anyway, this is about me having, learned a lot about Christianity. I also took religious studies classes, so I kind of learned about Christianity and religion more from a step back, look at the history of it, look at how the religion was created, look at how the Bible was constructed. So I became very actually skeptical, I guess, about religion and God. Yeah, I went from super religious fanatic at the beginning of college, and then towards the end, kind of experiencing these different religious communities and understanding and learning about these other religions. And towards the end of college, I think what happened was that because I because I moved so far away from what I so absolutely believed at the beginning, I just became doubtful about myself ever trusting a religion again, ever being able to actually 100% believe to another religious ideology, no matter what it was, no matter how much it vibed with my personal lifestyle already, no matter how much it vibed with how I view the world in general anyway. So that is my extra long prelude to this piece. So thanks for listening again. Here it is. The title of this piece is I Don't Believe. All of a sudden, I am at the bottom of the canyon. I don't believe. Every time I fold my hands and pray, I feel nothing more. I only notice that my hands are clasped and that I am mumbling about being grateful for something. There is literally no spirit. Every time I open the Bible, I see thousands of years of scribes playing around with texts, just as the Greeks did Homer's works. And for the New Testament, I see a political agenda in every piece reflecting the clash between Paul and James and other men who only heard of Jesus after his death. I don't see God made flesh. That is what my eyes have seen before, albeit inconsistently. Now I never see it. I don't believe. When I talk about morals in banter or in a religious space, I feel cumbersome. Lifting and throwing words like detachment or humility really can feel pointless. What truths of the universe are we divining by having these discussions or reading these books? Will my day-to-day life ever be touched even by this kind of talk? Gradually, the spiritual infrastructure of the world and my life has caved in. Before, I saw God in acts of humility. I saw beauty when someone forgave another. I still see shreds of it. It's not the same though. I saw reason to model my life on Jesus and Gandhi. But do I really know who they were? Jesus could have been a militant Jew, which would not take away from liberation theology, but makes my image of him less sturdy. Religion blended with privilege feels like a circle jerk. It's all a load of talk and ideas, and because the privileged don't need anything to keep them well and alive, it doesn't shift how we view the world. Liberation theology keeps my spiritual quest alive, but barely. It's hanging on by a thread. However, liberation theology claims that God is only real to those who are underprivileged, poor, and oppressed. I understand that. It makes sense in a mysterious way. Observing this illogical fascination with liberation theology indicates to me that my spirituality is not dead. The Cross and the Lynching Tree is what I am currently reading, and it fuels me with fire, anger, and hope. But even with that caveat, I feel my mind approaching a philosophy where justice for the oppressed is what matters most. But I don't believe yet that God has a hand in it. I will be frank, without God, the hope for justice in this world is dim. Without God, my perception of the world has dimmed. I am less excited about things, people, and the happenings of the world. I want God to come back into my life, but for now, it only enters as an idea. Thanks for listening. I realized that I mentioned liberation theology in there, and that's something that I definitely want to talk about more. It's kind of structured. It's probably more structured than I think it is, like this approach to Christianity. But in a nutshell, what it is viewing Jesus. First of all, Jesus is God. But then the second most important thing about Jesus was that he was a man of an oppressed minority group in the Roman Empire, the Jews, right? So, and he was also working class, relatively poor, and seeing his life, or seeing God made flesh, seeing that entity's life through that lens, is what liberation theology claims is that's an essential part of Jesus and the life of Jesus. But I definitely have to get more into that later in another video. But anyway, that was written 5 years ago, but it's still kind of how I feel. I rapidly changing all the time when it comes to religious, spiritual, world, philosophical views. But that's something I just wanted to share because I felt like it's something that I needed to let out back then. And perhaps if anyone else is in a similar space, maybe they want to wrestle with those thoughts. So yeah, anyway, thanks for listening. I hope you got something out of it, and I really want to keep sharing about things that are going on in my head, and things about, quote unquote deep stuff where, about religion, worldviews, about how your communities that you live in and socialize in, how those inform them. And I want to share my experience, my personal experience in that arena, because maybe it will help you express that in a way that will help you to grow in whatever way you're trying to grow. So yeah, again, thanks for listening. See you later.